Jeff, what was it like watching these guys sack after sack? Someone who has had some sacks in his playing career, just seeing who's next. Right?
Yeah, it was definitely a good day for the defensive line from that standpoint. Got up to the quarterback and consistently found pressure. So hopefully we can build on that. It's a byproduct of those guys work as hard as any group I've ever been around in my life, whether it be individual, practice, all that they do. Aaron Wycott and Nate Ollie are just exceptional D-line coaches, and it's an exceptional group from that standpoint. So hopefully just keep building on it.
What kind of an appreciation do you have for, Quinn and Quincy and just kind of that dynamic there? And obviously they're both playing
right.
well. And, just how much of an appreciation do you have for those two guys and kind of the story they're carving a little bit?
Yeah, it's extremely cool to see two brothers have as much success as they're having together. It's just, I know we were just talking about it as we walked in the room as far as statistically, I guess that was the first time brothers have had a sack for the first time, which is a really obscure stat,
yeah.
but still really neat from that standpoint. Yeah, both players are just crazy upside as far as I'm concerned, like just unbelievable potential. And I know that's crazy to think with Quinnen being a first-round pick and being as good as he is, to think that there's a lot more in the tank, but I absolutely believe there is with both those guys. So I think they're just starting to show everybody a glimpse of what they're capable of.
If I could just follow on that, what are the similarities, the most obvious similarities between the two, and what are the biggest differences between the two, do you see? Personality.
Both are explosive. Both are dynamic as far as like the twitch within their body is just different. Obviously, the size is probably the biggest difference, But even personality-wise, they're very similar. They both have like a quiet confidence, but still like a significant swag and personality. They both have. So, yeah, it's been fun getting Quincy in there. Like, is he perfect? Not close. He's got so much more room to grow, but we're just so excited about what he could become.
Are you surprised at how quickly he's acclimated since he only came here, September?
Yeah, he's been here, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah, he's done a great job as far as picking the defense up. Fortunately, there were some similarities. If you go back to when Todd Wash was with Jacksonville, they did a lot of similar stuff to us. So there was a foundation of technique and scheme, and so it wasn't starting from absolute ground zero, but still the fact that he has picked it up as fast as he has is it's a testament to him, and how hard he goes at it.
Jeff, you had 93 plays in the game on Sunday. It's an extraordinarily high.
I thought we had 103.
They have 102, I believe.
102?
They don't use in the play count.
Oh, I got you.
Which is a lot either way.
Absolutely.
Any worry about like a hangover, like a fatigue factor?
I think, there's always a little bit of a concern regarding that. But also I think that Coach Sala has done a great job as far as paring things down a little bit, reducing the volume a little bit. We took the pads off today, so little things like that. And then just this, the support staff we have as far as the regen's concerned and the all that's available to these players is I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, in-house, you have everything you could ever need as far as regen is concerned. So these guys have a lot of good resources, and they're utilizing them. So, I'm not concerned from that standpoint, especially the way I think we've taken care of them this week.
What's it like for you this week going against a team you know very well? Or are they different now because, different coaches? Yeah,
it's there's obviously, I'm familiar with the personnel probably more than anything. And from a schematic standpoint, it's first of all, it's similar to Tennessee, obviously, similar family, and then it's really similar to, what Kyle had done when we were there. So seeing those guys back in those type of roles, there is a database for me to lean on a little bit, but at the same time, they are doing some different things, some unique things, and with the addition of like the Kyle Pitts and some of the guys that weren't there when I was there, the Mike Davises and the Cordell Pattersons, there is definitely significant new challenges as far as their roster is concerned, but it's exciting to play against them. It's know them well, and it would be fun to get after them a little bit.
it sounds like Ridley and Gage will be out, but what about Patterson? You mentioned him. They use him so many different ways.
Yeah.
How do you defend that?
Yeah, it's astounding to think here's a guy that is a historic returner. I mean, I think 8 touchdowns on his career as far as returning is concerned, and I mean, he has always been exceptional as far as that's concerned. But now to find him utilized within an offense in so many different ways. I mean, this guy, like, I don't even know what to say he is. Yeah, he lines up at probably running back more than any of the positions, but still, like, he's at tight end at times, he's at wide receiver at times. So they're definitely finding a lot of interesting, unique, creative ways to utilize his skill set because he's long and he's fast and he's physical and he plays hard. So, yeah, he's going to be a great challenge.
Getting back to something you discussed before about all the plays you guys had to play last week, playing a full overtime of football, what kind of challenge does that create the next week, especially tackling a guy like Derrick Henry for 5 quarters?
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a toll on the body. But I think that's where, you just have to be smart with the way you practice, the way you commit to your regen, the way that you do all the recovery stuff. I think it's just as long as you do that and you're really dedicated to that and you have a real plan for the recovery, I'm not as concerned. If you go back 20 years from now when the league really didn't care about that, it would probably be a bigger issue because we wouldn't have altered practice, we wouldn't have taken the pads off today, we wouldn't have had all these in-house regen ops. So a little bit of that it's not as concerning, but it's a real thing for sure.
Jeff, you started this season, with a young group as it is, and then there's been some injuries thrown into the fray here a little bit.
Yep.
Through 4 games, how would you characterize how you guys have kind of hung in there, done what obviously last week was a great pass rushing week, and where is this program? Is it ahead maybe of where you thought it could have been with all the moving parts, or?
To tell you the truth, probably a little bit, especially from the back end standpoint. I had great belief in those guys, and I was excited about what they could become. But at the same time, there wasn't proof, there wasn't evidence. They hadn't gone out there and actually done it. So there's always a element of the unknown, and there's a little angst as far as that was concerned. But I thought they've done an exceptional job. And the beauty of these guys is they're getting better every week. They're still seeing things for the first times in their careers, and they're building this database of their own and this experience of their own. So. Yeah, I'm excited, especially with the young guys who we didn't necessarily know we had in them, and I'm excited that they're just going to continue to improve, too.
Just getting back to Quincy for a second, you were saying it's not perfect. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but it seems just from the outside looking in that maybe he might not, he's using his aggressive nature to maybe make up for whether he screws up on him,
For sure.
scheme or whatever. What's the balance there? Obviously you're trying to get him proper on the scheme, but
right.
How much does that help him? His kind of the big abandon that he plays with.
Right. Yeah, it would be a shame if we ever stole that from him. So does he need to be more controlled at times? Yes, but at the same time, that's his superpower, and we never want to take that from him. He has speed, he has aggressiveness, he's got explosiveness that's different and unique and really uncommon in a lot of ways. So now just harnessing it within the scheme and fine-tuning it and cleaning up the details and tightening up his technique, which will happen, and you've seen improvement from the games that he's played. So, yeah, he's continuing to get better, and he's a guy that who knows how good he could be. I really look at him as a guy that he could be one of the top backers in the NFL if he wants to be and if he's committed to it and if he stays healthy.
I mean, he was let go by one of the lower echelon teams in the league. Is it possible that him being on the same team as his brother, does that elevate things for him a little bit? Do you think? Or?
I think maybe a little bit. I think there's a different level of accountability because of the, obviously the relationship that they have, and I think Quinnen's got a different level of transparency and honesty with him that he might not have had in Jacksonville. But he's also Quincy's a guy that Robert, myself, like we've been excited about this kid since he came out of Murray State, and both of us when he was in San Francisco and I was in Atlanta, we both were begging our front offices at the time to get him, to go draft him and make him ours. So this is, I think it's a good situation from that standpoint because he is raw in a lot of ways, but he's also, I think he's got a collective coaching staff and organization that really believes in him, and I think that he needs that, like all of us need.
For defense, you guys have had times when you've gotten really good pressure on the quarterback, and yet it's weird, you don't have an interception.
Yeah.
How do you kind of reconcile that?
Yeah, part of that is the fact that we are very man heavy when we bring pressure, and when you're playing a ton of man in those windows, it's hard to have quarterback eyes. It's hard to steal balls at times. So that's part of it, but it's also just taking advantage of our ops when we are playing zone. We do have quarterback vision because we do have quarterback vision a lot. So we just got to keep going after it. Burke, he went through the ball and how close we've been so far, as far as not only the picks and the tips and the overthrows, but the shots at ball and all the loose juggling balls by ball carriers, quarterbacks, whatnot. So it's just we got to continue to just work on our precision as far as the ball's concerned, the way we take shots at it, the way we rip at it, the way we attack it, and then ultimately the way we go pick it off too, and we take advantage of having quarterback eyes.
Robert was telling us about CJ and how he changed the call, and he was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
What was your reaction during that? Were you kind of freaking out a little bit?
Through my, this is like 20 years in the NFL for me, between playing and coaching, I have never been around anything like that in my life. I've never seen that, and it just shows you like what a special player we have in him. He's a guy that understands this game at a really high level. That wasn't in the game plan. That wasn't mentioned. That wasn't talked about. That wasn't a wink on the side. That was just him saying, they got us in a man check. They're going to do a man beater. Let's get us into a zone, and he did, and it worked out. Yeah, so it's one of those things. It's you can't give that juice to everybody, but he's definitely a guy that's earned the right to do stuff like that.
I think people would be surprised to say in 20 years you never had a guy call an audible, like change a play like
Well,
that.
when the audibles were into the game plan, built into the game plan, like versus this look, we're going to check this, versus this look, we're going to check this.
Yeah.
The quarterback says this, we're going to do this. I've been through all of that,
Yeah.
Here's a guy that, like, completely off schedule, like, went into a defense that we didn't even run in that window, like, and you see him. He gets it from corner to safety. He got us all together on the same page. So, really unique, really scary, but really cool at the same time. Just, ultimately the greatest defenses in this league are player-driven, and player-run, and he absolutely demonstrated that.
Are you concerned for your job?
He would do an amazing job. I know that.